live. Although I will wait to see if we are. I'll tell you what, I have not I have not streamed for some time. I think the last time I streamed was in 2021. Yeah, so that's been a while. But yes, hello. Tell me. Oh, I'm late apparently. I'm late by like 60 seconds. Right, cool. Can you hear me all right? Is that a thing you can hear? Say yes if you can hear me, please. I'm going to test all the stuff. Yeah, look, there's my discography and such. And then, you know what I'm also going to test is the audio levels. I'm going to play a tune and you tell me if it's really loud or not. Is it about the same volume as my voice? Type 1 if it is the same volume as my voice. Type 2 if things need to change. Hear you loud and clear. Perfect volume. Excellent, thank you. Amazing. Yeah, I'm wildly out of practice with streaming, so bear with me. It's a tiny bit loud, as in the music is a little bit loud. Getting lots of ones, slightly louder than voice. Could be a little quieter. All right, that's going down. That's going down to a sort of this level. Sort of this level, I would say. That sort of level. Hopefully that's correct. Cool. How is it going? It's been 10 years. Not since I talked to any of you, but since I've been Chime. Okay. Stream's delayed and I'm in the same city as you. Yeah, there's generally a delay on everything, isn't it? Now it is fine. Okay. Cool. Well, let's start off with any questions you have, I guess. And then I've got a combination of an updated Chime discography playlist on Spotify, because I realized there was lots of bits missing, such as like remixes and things, so I've gone and updated that. But also old Facebook videos of me announcing the name change and such. So those are the things we will be going over. But for now, let's have a look at questions. It's been 10 years since Chime said anything ever. Okay. How has DJing for 10 years been? Good. DJing, like playing live, has always been my favorite thing about it. So good. And actually, that's one of the clips I've got is of like the first show I played. This one in Paris. Yeah, you can see Ray Volpe Lion December remix. So this was technically like my first sort of booking that I was paid for. Yeah, this technically I was booked as December, but this was just like the month I changed to Chime. Yeah, so that was a whole thing. Let's see questions. Do you like Scotland? I've never been to Scotland. Wait. I have been to Scotland because I needed to fly there on the way back from something. I was supposed to be flying back to Manchester Airport, but I think we ended up there for some reason. That is as much Scotland as I have experienced. So I don't have enough experience to form an opinion. How old is your Minecraft account? I think I fucked up on... you know, when they like migrated all the Minecraft accounts and stuff, and I just lost it completely. So I had to make a new one. So not that old. How did you discover Colorbase? It wasn't really a discovery. It was I named a thing that was already a thing, which was kind of like between melodic and heavy and dubstep, and then a lot of sound design stuff came along, circa 2020, probably 2019, I would say, that was doing a better job of merging like sound design with harmonic stuff, and then that kind of became what Colorbase ended up being referred to as. How many viewers have we got? I'm not seeing any of the information of such. 74. Very nice. Yeah, thank you for being here, guys. This was very last minute because despite everything, I did not figure out that I should probably do something on the actual day, which is today. Okay, we are going back to those days for this one. Yes, we are, in just a bit. What is your biggest takeaway lesson from the last 10 years? That's a big question. Good God. I don't know. I don't have like a soundbite thing. I don't know. Keep going is a good one. Like there was a real spot in 2020 where everything was really shut down, and urge to continue doing this as a job is what led me to like open up the Patreon, which is still the main reason I'm able to continue to do this full time. So that was a big thing for me, and if anyone from the Patreon is on here, thank you so much for the support. You're amazing. Mommy Sky says, Chime, can you finally take off the hat? It's so hot, your head is probably sweaty from all those months wearing it non-stop. Soon, but not yet. Is there any tips for promoting music? This changes like every year, so not really. I don't know. Just spam things on TikTok is the current meta, isn't it, really? I don't know. Make sure my advice is always make sure the music's good first, before trying to promote it, because there's no point until the quality's there. So yeah, Cosmic says I looked really different. What, in these videos? Yeah, the same though, the same age. So I don't really understand that, but yeah, we'll go into that in a bit. I knew who's gonna have Facebook up. Yeah, exactly. That's where all the old stuff is, so that's the easiest way of digging it all up. When is Pyroclastic VIP releasing? I don't know. I just pissed about and made a little VIP thing. It's barely more than like a couple of bars, so I don't know. Probably never. Are you doing any shows? Soon, maybe. Not in the US anytime soon, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, the chat decided to go down, and it's lost my place majorly. Okay, I'm back to the spot. How is your cousin from Caution and Crisis doing? He's good. He moved to Australia for a bit, but he's back for a bit, and yeah, he played a show in Leeds. He does like it's sort of singer-songwritery sort of music, folky sort of stuff, and that's been going nicely for him. I wasn't able to make the show, unfortunately, but apparently it was really good. For your Disciple EP releases, the covers all had a similar art style. Was there lore involved in any of those? Not really. They were all when they had like the sidebar on the side and the sticker and stuff, so that's why they all ended up in the same art style. I just had like general ideas that I would tell Solid Soul that I wanted, and he would do things in that general style. Yeah. Zeph asks, what was the first and most recent thing you learned in your time as a producer? The first thing I learned as a producer, and the most recent. Jesus Christ, with these questions. What did I learn most recently? My big thing right now is I'm trying to simplify my music as much as possible. Well, not as much as possible, but get the most out of a few elements. I think I've been overcomplicating my music for a long time, And yeah, I'm trying to just like get things back to what is the main element, and how do I use it to the best of its ability, and use the other sounds to kind of supplement that. That's been my most recent thing I've been kind of developing. What was the first thing I learned as a producer? I don't know. That GarageBand is cool and you can put loops together, and it's like Music 2000 from the PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1. Duck Wilder, what is your biggest takeaway lesson from the last 10 years? I think you might have asked that before. Fuck me, I don't know. Nothing is going to be the same. Nothing is going to be the same 10 years from now. Absolutely nothing will be the same. The social media platforms, where I post stuff, where my fan base is, it's not going to be the same at all. Because like, we're going to look back at this stuff and it's all on bloody Facebook. And Facebook was like the place. And then that just completely died. Died a heinous, horrible death. And now everything is in other places. Instagram's stuck around pretty well. But yeah. How close would you say you are to cleaning out your old projects to make way for the new era? It's not really a case of me cleaning out old projects. I don't really delete anything. I keep everything, because why would you delete it? So yeah, that's just not a process I'm going through. Let's see what else we've got. I've been producing music since 2020, but I still can't make anything worthwhile. How are you measuring your worthwhileness of your music? Do you enjoy your music? If you do to any level, then it's worthwhile. You have to remember that it's not always about like what other people think. And yeah, I mean, I still really enjoy the absolute dregs like music that I started making way back. And the fact that I still enjoy it means that it's worthwhile. It's also like it's every piece of music you make is a stepping stone to improving and to where you will end up in the future. So it's kind of like if you want to delete a part of your discography in the past, there's kind of no point in looking at it like that, because that's not the point. That's not the point. It's a stepping stone. It's a part of who you've become. So, and that's why I'm always eager to like look back at all this stuff. Like, we're gonna look back at these Facebook videos, and you're gonna go, "That is a Chime without any charisma whatsoever." And but it's important not to dismiss that and be like, "Well, I was trying, and it became what I'm able to do now on like social media and like talking to you guys through a camera and stuff." So yeah, I'm very behind on the chat. I'm going to try and answer these questions more quickly. Do you feel music would be timeless, more like music that you make or similar stuff from other people? I'm not sure what that's asking, so I'm going to move on to the next question. Would you ever be down to collab with Infect in future? Yes. I've wanted to for quite a while. But he's probably too big a deal now for him to bother working with me. What's your opinion on Lumpus? I really like Lumpus. I think I'll say it's a sorry state of affairs when most of the scene has less of a signature style than a joke dubstep act. Like, you can tell a Lumpus track is a Lumpus track because they have a signature style, and really that's what I'm valuing a lot more than basically anything else when I'm going to a bass music producer. I want to hear their style and something that is unique to them and only they could make. And even if it's like a comedy dumb tune, a lot of the ideas in Lumpus tunes have been like really freeing for me, because I'm like, oh god, you could just make something so dumb and it goes so hard. Why am I not doing that? But with serious stuff. So yeah. Have I ever been in Poland? Very briefly. I've been at Wrocław airport. I might be pronouncing that right. I had to look it up while I was there. That was a nice airport. That was a chill airport. But that's my only experience of Poland. Are you going to stop making Colorbase? I hope no. No, although the style of it is going to be toned down somewhat. Like, it's... if you think about, like, Colorbase sound design as, like, a very sweet sound, like, there's going to be sweetness in there, but it's going to be mixed in with other flavors more so. That's kind of how I would describe, like, the new style. Is that a real tree? Yes. It's probably very unwatered. I'm not in charge of any of the plants in this flat, and I actually really hate this fucking thing because it's spiky when I have to open that curtain, and I wish it was anywhere else. What artists have you been listening to most that are not EDM? I suppose that still counts as other electronic music. So what I listen to most is, I'll get the bloody playlist up that I listen to most. What am I doing? Here we go. Here's the chill work playlist, which is literally just a bunch of ambient music from video games. So this is the Tunic soundtrack, Fez, Hyperlight Drifter, Sky, and then we got like some John Hopkins, Hollow Knight, Celeste, Outer Wilds. I'd like just ambient music is what I listen to mostly. But also you got some like stuff from Toem, which is more just like chill video gamey music stuff. But yeah, I listen to that a ton. So that should answer your question. Right. What else have we got? Have you thought of making a song in the 6 to 7 minute range again someday? No. No. I mean, the style of music I'm making doesn't lend itself to that. But also, I don't know. In a lot of my older music, there's like breakdowns that really don't need to be there, that don't necessarily add a lot to the track. And again, with what I mentioned about like sort of crystallizing the idea down to just like what the main element is, that's really what I've been focusing on. And so, I've been less needlessly complex with a bunch of my structures with music as well. Yes. Are we going to see more Europe tours? Would love to see you in my area by Agente 001. That's the plan, but in order to achieve that, we need to go into the new era of Chime, because what I'm making currently just isn't a thing that is wanted by anyone in Europe, or not anyone, but like enough people in Europe to make that a feasible thing. But my hope is with the new era that I'm able to do things more on the European side, because the US is not sustainable currently, unfortunately, with the visa fees being ridiculous and every other thing that's happening over there. So yeah, that is the plan. Question from Elemental. Just wanted to say it's basically my first time chatting with you in your own live stream, and man, it's an honor to be chatting with you. Yeah, thank you very much. It's I'm just a guy in a room chatting to you, but if that's a special thing, then I'm glad. Yeah. Peeb asks, been a huge fan since you had about 15k subs around 2017. Just want to say thank you so much for your incredible music. Must have listened to all of Etherborn 30 times by now. Thank you very much. Yeah. I listened back to Etherborn the other day, like 2 weeks ago, not the other day, and I was like, yeah, I'm happy with this actually. That's good. I'm glad I made it, even though it, you know, on every other aspect, it completely tanked my career. at a time when I really needed to not be writing an album like that. Modus asks, Chime in Spain when? My response to that would be dubstep promoters in Spain when, and we'll leave it at that. How long have you been making your EP between? I don't know, like, because Scary Pretty Paradox has been around for way over than a year, way longer than a year, and the same with Rainbow Rave Parade. It's the sort of thing, I didn't sit down and go, I'm going to write an EP. It was, I wrote various tracks and then collated them into an EP, in that case. Whereas like something like Etherborn, I mean, there was a bit of collation there, but it was like, I'm going to sit down and write an album sort of thing. Cool. What else have we got? Have you considered getting into live streaming more? Not really. I struggle to... Okay, so most days I have had not enough sleep to speak coherently. When I'm like recording videos on days where I haven't had enough sleep, which is most days, there's so much stumbling over my words that it takes me ages to get the fucking thing I'm trying to say, and then it takes ages to go through and edit it so that it looks like I am coherent. Live streaming is just that, but more stress and no ability to edit anything. So I only do it very, very rarely because I just find it pretty stressful most of the time. I just slept in majorly today, so I'm able to form words and sentences, which is why I'm streaming. What genre have you thought about merging with Colorbase? UK dubstep. I'll move on. Will you please do a Lullaby Part 2? That might be referring to the Lone Moon remix, in which case, no, I'm afraid. Dan the Mac asks, what's one of the things that you're really proud of from the last 10 years? Yeah, I mean, Aetherborn's a very obvious one. That was really a culmination of sort of everything I was going for from the very beginning of these 10 years. The idea of the first 10 years being about escapism really culminated in that album, and writing it was what made me realize that just leaning on escapism the whole time is kind of dangerous. And so as I was writing the album as a sort of like fantasy escapism thing, I was realizing the dangers of that as I was writing it, and so that's why my character becomes trapped in the machine and becomes a big scary thing, big scary existential thing at the end of the album. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense to anyone who has actually listened to it. But yeah, I would say that's kind of like my proudest work. I also really like what I was able to do with like Make 'Em Proud last year, and the video that went along with that. Yeah, I kind of point to those things. What comes next for you? Well, if you've been on the Chime Patreon, you'll know all of this. What comes next is something very different. I'm sort of drawing a line under this past like 10 years of music, because I feel like I've done everything I want to do in this style, really. And the culmination of it is like Etherborn and, you know, the more recent tracks like Scary Pretty Paradox. Like, that's as far as I can take heavy and melodic and smashing them together in a sort of bro steppy style. I mean, I could keep going, but like, it's really time for something new for me, and so that's what I will be revealing sort of next month, if everything goes to plan. Yeah. Windfall, I remember when you dropped Surface, and I considered that your turning point where you started going from your melodic dubstep to Colorbase. Yeah, I mean, as we go through the the discography, you'll kind of see where that starts coming in. I mean, I started calling what I made Colorbase like 2016 even, which is bloody... even around this era, I started calling it Colorbase. You can see with a track called Colors. But when it started like in actually integrating some of the sound design and stuff, that was really like this sort of point here alongside Surface. So yeah, you're about right, I would say there. Yeah, and then that's pretty Colorbasey, and then I didn't really hit the stride of Colorbase until probably Soda World and Bloom. That's where I really started figuring stuff out. And then this was supposed to release over here, so that's why it doesn't really fit into that sort of trajectory. So we'll kind of get into that when we go through the discography. Chime bold cut reveal when? Wait like a couple of weeks. Moldivort says, new EP's great. How is your sound design changing with your new phase, if any? It's getting a lot more simple. Just like, I don't know. I've never been great at sound design. It's never been the thing I'm focusing mostly on. You look at a lot of my old tunes and the sounds are just fucking awful. It's more the way that they're compiled and put into the structure of the track that is interesting, or the theming and stuff. So I'm kind of trying to just focus on more simplistic sound design, satisfying stuff, and just working off that really. That's what I would say. Oh fuck! It reloaded again, and I missed my spot. Ooh, God! Oh, it loaded many more messages. Shit! Where the hell are we? Oh fuck! Okay. I'm gonna try and find my spot again. I might just need to start back at a point because it's just loaded an absolute shit ton of questions. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. Okay, I think I'm gonna quick fire some. Any more merch coming soon? No, unfortunately. No. Will the Can You Feel the Rain ID ever be released, or was it scrapped? It will be released. It's part of the new era. Have I heard of Neo Luminum? Yes, I have. What's your current dream venue? I don't know. Any smallish venue that you could do like 360 in. I don't know. That 300, 400 cap, or even lower than that, is kind of like the golden zone for me. I noticed the new video thumbnails no longer have the Chime logo. Is this something new moving forward? Not necessarily. The new video thumbnails are for the Between EP, which have the symbols. So I wanted to represent the tracks with the symbols there to go along with the branding of that EP. I know it's not very likely because of lack of a scene here, but do you have any thoughts on doing a show in New Zealand? I would love to make it out there. I've been trying to come to like Australia and New Zealand, but it's I think the scene is taken a bit of a turn down, especially since COVID. But obviously I would love to go. It's the thing is with me playing any shows is that it's completely not up to me at all. I just go where I'm told if I get bookings. I'm going to see. I think my webcam is pretty smudged. Let's see if that is any better. Maybe. Okay. Let me see what else we have got. Who was Caution and who was Crisis? I was Caution, which is funny because I'm the more chaotic one now. Collab with your cousin in the works. No, that would be bizarre. at the moment with our musical styles. What happened with your IDs from the first era? Yeah, so I went through this on Patreon a little while back. That's I'm gonna keep that on there really, but basically all the IDs from this era I have released. All the ones that are going to release, and so that's why a lot of them ended up on Between EP. The remaining ones are either collabs where it's up to them whether they release or not. So things like the tune with Flux and More Kismet will finally release at some point, but the ball is thoroughly in someone else's court there, and the same with like the Cyclops collab. That's just his manager's deal. We'll see if anything happens with that, but yeah, I've tried to release everything in the backlog as much as possible. There are a couple of things that will pop up in different places potentially, but for the most part you've had everything like I was able to release before now, unfortunately. Did you make it to the GC set at Alfonso's? I had a big sad that weekend. The Gentleman's Club one in Leeds. I did not make it because I had to take my dog in for a procedure. And, I was looking after her all day. I've been trying to get better at music production since, but can never figure out any tips on getting better. Most of my tips on music production are on Patreon, unfortunately. But with a question as open as that, just make music all the time. Like, the more time you spend on it, the better you're going to get. You're never going to get worse at producing music. You're only ever going to improve. So the more you do that, the better. Just keep going, keep making music, and you will improve. Caution of Crisis Return. No, unfortunately. Do you have any hints for any potential Goldfinch-like motifs we may have missed? I think you guys have got all of them. There's one in Scary Pretty Paradox. There's one in Control. There's one in Runaway. But you guys have figured those out. Yeah. When is the Pop-In ID coming out? Next year. We have got a release date for that. What's your favorite candy? I like fizzy stuff. So those bubblegum, like blue and pink fizzy bottles. That's my shit. Yeah. Where do you get your album arts, and if you create it, what software? A lot of them I've made myself. So like the Between EP artwork was me. Feel It with Dr. P and Fried Peanuts was me. Runaway was me. Photoshop. Just Photoshop, basically. I should start getting some light on me because the sun is going down, and I have not thought this through on any level. That's a little bit better. Right, where did we get to? PlayStation and 1. That was what I said like hours ago. I'm so behind on this chat. When release White Magic VIP? That is not a thing, I'm afraid. Please come to Switzerland. I played a show in Martigny in 2019 with Gentleman's Club, but I have been sort of semi-recently. I went last year, but not for a show, just for hanging out. Since you dragged Funtcase into making melodic, do you think Funtcase will drag you into making something heavy, and are you scared of that? I make heavy stuff. See Scary Pretty Paradox, that's pretty heavy. See Mecha Turbo 3, that's pretty heavy. And other things that I would consider to be pretty heavy, I don't know, like the Sullivan King remix and stuff. I will occasionally go over that that way, but no longer. What else have we got? Do you feel like you'd be doing more remixes of video game songs in the future? Love your originals, but your remixes are sick too. I remember when the Stone Talus remix dropped. Yeah, so I haven't done any in 6 years. The last time I did a video game remix was when Smash Brothers Ultimate came out, and that was like 2019. So it's been a while, but I did do that Mario Kart Wii menu theme remix, which is currently up on the Patreon, but will be releasing as part of the new era for free on SoundCloud at some point. But I don't know when. It depends on scheduling and stuff. What do I think of President Putin? Honest answers only. No thanks. May I ask you if you are idealistic or materialistic? I'm certainly not materialistic. I don't like things. I really don't like physical items at all. And I work hard to get rid of stuff as much as possible. Idealistic? I'm not sure how to interpret that. So I'm going to move on. Any games you're into right now? I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom again on the Switch 2 because it's like a much smoother experience. But I just played Tori Saturn, which is like a bite-sized 3D platformer. I really like the Tori 3D games. They're just like little tiny basic platformers, but they're fun. What else? Yeah, I'm back on the 3D platformer kick right now. That's the vibe. Any hope for Rushdown after the rebrand, or is there even less hope? Okay, let me have a drink here. How many viewers do we have? 101. Cool. Okay. Yeah, let's tackle the Rushdown thing, because especially those of you on like Discord and stuff have been like, what's going on? And to be fair, I did leave it very open on like the last statement about Rushdown. Yeah, so I stopped. So you know all the reasons why I stopped Rushdown. I was very much overworked and being dragged in all sorts of directions with what I was working on, and this was around 2023. Yes, and it was coinciding with the finishing and releasing my album, and I basically had far too much on my plate, and it was decimating my mental health. So a big part of that was me basically shutting down Rushdown or putting it on an indefinite hiatus, and that's really because I was doing everything for Rushdown. I was doing the artwork, social media stuff, A&R, although there were people like Convexity that were helping out on the A&R side. Yeah, scheduling the releases, figuring all of that out, and communicating with the artists and all that sort of thing. And it was simply too much, to the point where I was really struggling to keep up with Chime stuff. Because you'll see, like, 2022, I think, starts around here. No, that's not right. Starts with Cloud Factory and ends with Bring Me Back. That's how many releases I had in 2022. That is an unacceptable amount of releases in an entire year. I mean, to be fair, I was gearing up to release, the full album and stuff in 2023, but that really tanked momentum for Chime majorly, and that's because I was pumping a lot of that time into Rushdown. But to answer the goddamn question, I don't see it coming back right now or anytime soon, which is unfortunate. But the problem is finding basically other members of staff that are willing to work on it and take things off my plate. And my new manager, we shopped around for people in the industry that could be interested in taking care of more of the back end, but there just wasn't enough interest in there for anyone to jump on, and then it just became longer and longer and longer, and it's gotten to this point now where I am planning on taking my music in a much more different direction, so it makes even less sense now for Rushdown to come back, which sucks, and a lot of it is the fault of the kind of hype around Colorbase really dying, and I will say that I do feel that Rushdown closing was part of that hype dying, so I will take some blame there, but a lot of that was me prioritizing my ability to continue even having a career, so that was that was the main problem with that, and I couldn't single-handedly hold that up anymore. It was just like not feasible. So no plans currently for Rushdown to come back. I apologize for that, but fundamentally that is the best thing for me to be doing, unfortunately. Right, catching up with all these questions is gonna be fucking impossible, so I'm gonna come back to questions a bit later, because I want to get into some of this other stuff that we have planned for the stream, such as this. This is the this is the original announcement of me changing my artist name from December with a 3. Let me get caught up on the chat here. Yes, people have told me I look like the kid from Christmas Story. That will be changing. Shout out Convexity for being real. Cool, let's watch this. This is a 5-minute long video, so I'm going to skip through. But this was the kind of thing you could just post on Facebook and people would actually watch and comment on. Horizontal video on social media, can you imagine? But let's watch a little bit of this, and let me know if the volume needs changing or whatever. But yeah, let's have a blast of this.
Hey everyone, I've got a bit of an important announcement to make today. I'm changing my artist name.
Why does it look...
No! What are you doing, mate? Why are you changing your name? Why are you doing it? Now before you flip out, this video is to...
What the hell is going on? I forgot that I tried to be funny back then. That was... It's weird, because I'm going from this very timid personality, like, straight into, like, this comedy thing. Jesus. Needs to be louder. Okay. Audio is doubled. Yeah, unfortunately, that is going to be the case. Because I can't wear headphones with a hat. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll turn it up on your end, and I'll turn it down on my end. How's this?
Is to explain why I'm changing my name, and maybe answer some questions you have about it. So first of all, am I changing style or genre, and is this a new alias? No and no. All the music I'm going to be making is exactly the same as December, just under a new name and under a new brand.
This is funny because this is actually the opposite of what I'm about to be doing. Keeping the name, changing the style.
What will happen to all of my old music? All of my previous releases under December will be uploaded to a secondary SoundCloud account, so the full back catalogue will be available for you to...
This is a very boring update, you know. Is there anything else that changes? Oh, okay. This is a very boring update, so let's move on to... This was me revealing the new music, the new Chime tunes, before I actually came out with the name. So here we go.
Quantum.
That's probably very loud now.
And we will get out.
Are we enjoying the absolute limits of my ability to animate in this video? Yeah, how's the audio going? I think it's changing rapidly between these videos, but is it about right now? Audio's fine, cool. Yeah, this is big bro step energy in 2015. Oh, this one's a vibe. Coming soon. Yeah, that was like a little showcase of what was going to be the very beginning of Chime. It's funny because it's not many tunes. But I've been like, I wish I had more stuff for like the rebrand like right now. But it's a lot more than this. So that's probably good. Volume is fine. Cool. Wait, what was that last one? That one isn't on Spotify. It's a remix of Virtual Paradise by AK and Vila. That should be available on SoundCloud or something somewhere. Let's have a look. Virtual Paradise Chime. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, here it is. And hopefully this will be the same-ish volume. God, this thing is almost 5 minutes long. I still really like this one, and I like the triplet drum step vibe because it gives it almost like a hip hop, like a glitch hop sort of vibe, but it's obviously a lot slower. Same logo for 10 years, yeah. That I am actually sort of panicking right now because I'm trying to figure out what the new logo is going to be, and I still haven't figured it out. But that's going to be what I'm going to be doing this week. Thank you, A-Dog. Anyway, that's that tune. So this, right, 16th of August 2015, that is exactly, and it's probably posted around this time as well, exactly 10 years ago, like today. This was the actual artist name reveal. Just look at how timid I am in this. It's like...
Hey everyone.
Oh, I'm gonna need to boost the volume on this majorly. Let me know if this is loud enough.
I'm happy to say today that I'm finally ready to announce the new artist name. Yay! That took ages. Before I do so, I want to announce just a few more other things that are happening. First of all, to celebrate the launch, I'll be releasing a free EP over the course of the next month. So that's one track per week, every Sunday, for the next 4 weeks. The first...
Loud. Too loud?
This one should be out today, called Escapism. The EP is called Escapism and is launching the new name. Go check it out on the SoundCloud link that should be in the description reveal. There's also plenty of other bits and pieces.
I remember like having trouble like properly enunciating words like around this time, because I was trying to be better on camera, obviously to do like social media stuff, but like I you can tell I'm like really mumbly, but I was aware of it at the time, so I was like trying to battle that a little bit. Also, I don't understand why I look so much heavier when I'm probably the same weight. I don't get how that works.
Pieces coming
Maybe
out.
I wasn't. Maybe I just wasn't weighing myself at the time.
Doing remixes, originals, all kinds of stuff that I've been waiting to release, but wanting to do it under the new name. All going to be coming out soon. Stay tuned to this page, and I'll let you know about everything that's happening. You're basically going to be bombarded with about that.
Alright. Oh yeah.
Okay, enough mess.
I love how just like nothingy this reveal is. It's just like me sat in my childhood bedroom. Yeah, and then it's just like, and the new name is
Here's the big reveal.
this.
Chime.
I have no idea why I chose this like Volterix remix to be like the reveal as well. Xenowolf says I look like a Pokemon trainer. Is that now or in the past? Or both?
Okay, there will be links to the new Chime SoundCloud in the description.
And then it's just me going, okay. There's links to things.
Should be the one if you're following me on SoundCloud already.
I was weirdly proud of that though. That I switched because it was like SoundCloud.com/December or whatever, and then I made a new SoundCloud and called it like Old December or whatever. Then when I wanted to do the switch, I changed the URL of my main SoundCloud to Chime Tunes, which is still my SoundCloud today. And then I changed like the backlog of December stuff to December, so all the links would still work, but they would go to a different SoundCloud account. I think that's why I'm like mentioning it so specifically.
It's that one, but it has a changed URL and stuff, and there'll also be a link to all the December stuff on our backup account. Just as a reminder to anybody who's freaking out about this, I'm not changing
Why did I think people would be freaking out about this?
style or genre or my music in general really at all. This is just a rebrand, a rename, and kind of a fresh start for me as an artist. And finally, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who's kind of following my music so far as December. I hope you don't mind I've changed my name, and I hope you all like the...
As how much of a people pleaser I was is me being like, oh, I've changed my name. I'm sorry. I hope you don't mind. It's like, it's my music. I can do what I want with it.
new name. It kind of makes a lot more sense for me to be called this than December with the 3 and all that stuff.
Yeah. I think there was another video where I tackled all of the problems with the name December with a 3. That was a whole thing. But yeah. This is the very, very humble beginnings of, 10 years ago to the day of me starting this project. I do quite like how I have used this logo ever since. Like, yeah, I've got like a... Is it on my Spotify still? Yeah, like I got this logo on this massive stage that I made with my dad like all of those years ago. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, the difference in like my ability to speak and just be myself is massive. I feel like, look at me here. So I don't know what the hell's playing down here. Stop. Yeah, so this was a horrible, horrible, horrible flat in Huddersfield, where I used to live, and it was like a cave. It was like at the back of a building, and it was like a basement flat, so it got no sun, and it had this horrible pop art. So this is like a Marilyn Monroe background, which ends up being a decently cool background for a video. But yeah, God, I can just see the depression. I can just absolutely feel it from just this still. You know what I noticed as well, because I used to be really sensitive about having like the buck teeth thing and like the gap in the teeth. Have my teeth like improved? Have they like closed up together? Because I found that either it's a psychological thing or it's actually has changed, or a bit of both. But I've just stopped worrying about, because I used to like smile with my mouth closed and stuff. I would just like be really sensitive about that. And you know, I still got them. They're just not even nearly as noticeable, I feel like. And I was just noticing that going through like these past videos and stuff. But yeah, I really don't get that. Why do you want to change your logo? Because I've had this one for 10 years and I want to make it clear that I'm moving into a new era of my music, so that's why I'm changing it for moving forward. Yeah. Let's see. This is an update of some kind. I'm still on loud mode on there. This is not playing.
Supposed to go download it for free. It's a melodic.
Oh, this is me actually like the next day talking about the very first Chime release, which is Escapism.
A chop tune called Escapism, which is the title track of the EP under the same name. I also kind of wanted to talk to you about my goals as an artist.
This should be interesting.
Now I'm Chime and stuff. You know, I've had a lot of time to think about what I kind of want to do and be as an artist during kind of figuring out the branding for Chime. What always seems to be the most important thing to me is to have kind of a secret meaning behind a lot of my tracks. Having these meanings and concepts.
This is funny because this is a thing that has persisted like throughout these 10 years. But it was so thinly veiled back then. Like the idea of the track Escapism actually being themed around escapism. There was nothing within the music itself to actually suggest that there was a theme of escapism. It was just a piece of music, and I just tacked on the meaning afterwards. So it doesn't really track. Whereas you know, like you look at like Etherborn, and there are aspects of the music that directly correlate to the meaning behind the track, its placement in the timeline of what's happening in the events of the album, and then there's like physical sound design and around what's actually happening and stuff. I like the idea of having a concept behind a track, but I hadn't really figured out at that point how to properly inject that into the music. I just thought you could say, oh, this is themed around this, and it would kind of fit in there. But the thing is, I was so like fragile at that point that if I, told this version of me that, they would go, no, there is, no, I used a nostalgic lead sound or something, there would be a defense of that. So, but like looking back now, it was just like, it's just a thing I was saying,
Concepts behind tracks help me to enjoy them a lot more and kind of be prouder of them. Tracks I've made in the past that have like no real solid ideas or concept behind them, I kind of tend to be more disappointed with. So as Chime, I really want pretty much all of my music to be meaningful as well as something you can dance to. So what I wanted to ask you guys is, would you be interested in me making videos explaining the kind of concepts and meaning behind some of my tracks?
Yeah, I might need to fish out one of the, because I've got like the whole, oh, that's very bright. My face is lit up on the screen. Yeah, I've got like all the videos from around this time. I think there's the meaning behind friend zoned or whatever. We might need to look at one of those because like we need to find out what the hell I meant at that point. Is this is the video we're just watching?
I could do a video for each week when each of the tracks of the EP comes out and kind of explain why I made it. I watched
this around this time. I was finding it difficult to properly put myself in the shoes of other people that were like fans of my music, because I was like, well, this would be interesting to me, so surely it's interesting to someone else. And it's like, yeah, it's only interesting to you because you made the music. Like, yeah, I don't know. I was very optimistic about like what people would be interested in, but I'm saying this as someone who's live streaming to a bunch of people and hoping they're interested in what I have to say about what I had to say 10 years ago. So that might be a little bit hypocritical.
Watched the Porter Robinson live stream where he went through his album and he kind of explained all the concepts behind
Porter Robinson album.
I thought his album
Just
was
come out.
pretty good already, but when I kind of knew the deeper meaning behind a lot of the tracks in the album, I listened through again and it was just a completely different experience, really, and what I would consider a better experience because, you know, it goes so much deeper than you would expect. I feel like a lot of people might just think my music's for dancing to and it's not really got anything behind that, but I do like to put a lot of deep.
I like the cutout point there. Wait, is that? Yeah. That wasn't the end of the video.
That I think would be cool to explain to you guys.
Blah de blah, waffle, not editing down my videos because it's 2015.
Really? So yeah.
And then the tune out now. This is the kind of stuff you could post 10 years ago and people could watch all the way through, presumably. I don't know if they actually did, but like, what a difference to like today's social media. God damn. Like to put a lot of details, I think I was going to say. Oh god, I don't know. Anyway, let's check this out. I should probably full screen this stuff as well. The hell was just playing then? I'm going to turn this down because that was probably... Why is something else playing? Yeah, this is crazy loud. Let's turn this down. Please stop, Facebook. So this, if something doesn't play, thank God, this is like the first show abroad I ever played in Paris, and I played it with Extra Terror and Bar 9, and I was very impressed that I was playing a show with Bar 9 because that was the coolest. Yeah, and I absolutely destroyed myself at this show. I remember my body was aching for like days, for like the week after, because yeah, I was like, I so desperately need this. Yeah, I just went absolutely mental. Yeah, it was not a sustainable amount of mental. Tune. Ew, boo. Boo. He hardly worked on this one, to be fair. That's a point, Dan. The Lion remix. This is where the chord sequence for From Atoms to Pixels came from, because I remember just liking it so much that I wanted to sort of remake it. We're booing at Danzig, by the way. Oh, this is Mini Monster, which is also not on Spotify. What else we got? There we go. It's nuts because like the crowd is like not really that full, but it felt like a ridiculous amount of people at that show at the time. Tune. I was listening to this one earlier today. There you go. That's the first show, December at We Are the Noise in Paris. Here's a short unofficial video of what happened last night. Damn, yeah, there you go. I'm talking about my body still hurts. No one's ever recognized me because of my music before. Yeah, that was a big deal for me. That was a big deal. Yeah. Oh, look at the state. I had some dodgy hairdressers in Huddersfield around this time, and this was not helping. And also, I didn't realize I should be shaving my sideburns at any point. But this is apparently a preview of, I think, Mini Monster. Hello? Oh, that's good. Let's refresh that. Cool. This might need bringing back up in volume.
Doing a track preview, so here's some electro house goodness for you.
Starting the video with a very, very timid, here's a tune I made. Hey, check it out. I'm still using Spline EQ all the time to show off my music. It's kind of become my thing. Was I nervous for my first live set? Yes, because it was the first time I'd even touched CDJs, which was a major problem back then. There was like no access to CDJs. I literally like went into a DJ shop just so that I could like touch CDJs for like a minute. But that was mostly what I was nervous about. I was very happy to be doing the transitions and stuff. It was more the gear. Why is my Facebook filled with Indian content? I have no idea. And it's auto playing. I have no idea. I never go on Facebook, so maybe if I do this, that would help. Yeah, this is like my Pages account as well, so I have no idea why it's happening. When are we answering questions again? Shortly, I would say. Here's one more Facebook video for us to enjoy. This is me trying to be funny 10 years ago. This did very well, this video. Too well. I remember being so happy with that fucking microwave bit. You see this laptop here? Yeah, this thing is a 2012 MacBook Pro, and this lasted me up until 2020 because I was so stubborn. I didn't want to change from it, and I was running Logic 9 on it, and it was really struggling by that time. I remember I went to Josh Modestep's place in LA with this fucking thing. And he was like, whoa, what is this thing you're making tunes on? But that's what I was fucking side quest EP I made on that thing. Like, everything was on that same laptop. Ridiculous. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Kitchen Dubstep makes 0.5. That is exactly what this is. Yeah, proper Ramsey type beat. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay ain't got shit. 14 likes. Yeah, people actually like properly responding to this as if it's like a video. But like, how long does it take? It takes like a full 20 seconds to get to any point of the video. Oh god, and this was deep in the cave of that horrible flat. Yeah, all right. Well, let's shift back to some questions because I missed an absolute ton earlier. So if I missed your question, please ask it now, and I will try to answer them, and then we'll listen through some more discography stuff. It's getting pretty dark in here, so I'm gonna change some things around. Maybe this will help. I should have brought my light from the other room in here. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just get the colour white up on my screen. Actually, that's alright. He just accidentally shows the camera his burnt, skinless fingertips. Oh, from that video. Yeah. Oh, God, look at this horrible hob. Oh, God. I have horrific memories of being in that place. Good Lord. Right. Questions. Still using a 2013 MacBook Air. If it works, yeah. But this thing was not working by 2020. I needed some serious convincing from my wife to actually upgrade to something else. Did you see my Discord message? I'm very bad at checking Discord messages, so don't message me there. If you ever want to message me stuff, Instagram's probably the best place, but I'm making no promises that I will get back to anyone. Yeah, but if you ask a question that's sufficiently interesting, I might. What is my spirit animal, I think, was a thing just then. I can't see who... Did I just see a Chingling plush? Yes. Yes. There's a little Chingling plush down there. Why did I choose Chime as your name? You know, we can probably find a... So bright. A video of me explaining it, but it's probably very dry, so maybe that's not the best plan. Why did I choose Chime as my name? I made a track called Chimes as December, so that was what like put the word in my head. I was coming up with a bunch of different names, and the closest ones were Skyward, which I then made a tune called Skyward as Chime, like in 2016. But my manager at the time didn't want me to have Sky in the name because he'd just been dealing with Milk, M-Y-L-K. Her previous name was Sky-Fi, and that became an issue because there's a UK TV and broadband company called Sky, which threatened to sue her. So he was like, you're not having Sky in your name. Which is funny, because then Skybreak was the thing, and lots of other Sky names. But yeah, and then the other one was Cloudbox, which I liked, but it just sounded like a fucking Dropbox sort of knockoff cloud service. So Chime was one of those, but I wanted something that sounded like bright, and musical, and basically what would become the Colorbase brand with like twinkly, sparkly, shiny stuff. And Chime felt like it worked, and I think the fact that it wasn't taken, even though it by all means should have been taken by that point by a musical artist. I was just like, this is an opportunity here. So even though I kind of forfeited sort of SEO recommendations, search engine optimization, it ended up being a good name, I think, ultimately. And it wouldn't make sense for me to change it now, certainly. And the other thing is that I wanted it to last. I wanted it to be a thing where it didn't feel dated and I could continue to use it indefinitely. And I was right. I was very right in that, because I still have that name 10 years later to the day, and I'm still happy with it as an artist name. So that was like one of the most important things. I was supposed to be quick firing these questions. But yeah, you may find this question too personal, but what made you come out as non-binary? I figured out that I was. It was that people forget, like, that's the point. The reason why I wanted to come out is because I thought it would be helpful to other non-binary people. I'm in a very privileged position in the sense that I'm not yet appearing different because of being non-binary or anything, although that will change soon. And so people just see me as a guy, but having representation of someone that looks like me that is non-binary is something that I could have used to help me figure out that I was non-binary. So I thought in coming out that would help other people that might feel the same, because when I was like looking up non-binary people in general and interviews with non-binary people and stuff, they were very much represented in a much more vivid and flamboyant way than the way I was. And I was like, well, I don't necessarily connect with that. So that was my idea of what non-binary was for a bit. But then more and more I experienced people that looked a lot more plain or more like agender. And I was like, actually I do connect with that, and there are people like that. So maybe that label does make sense for me. And so I came out in order to help other people like that and just further the representation of that. Yeah. Wouldn't Chime's spirit animal be a goldfinch? Yeah, I would say so. What are your happiest memories while running Rushdown while it was around? I will say, like, as much hard work as it was, that like 2022 period was ridiculous for Rushdown music. Like, the new artists that were seemingly popping out of nowhere and just making my new favorite music, like your Keros and your Convexities, and how good Sharks was getting around that time and stuff. It was just it was very exciting, and I felt very privileged to be the one that they had entrusted to release their music, and so that was also what sort of prolonged put off my shutting it down, because I was like, damn, I really want to foster this community of artists that are just making all my favorite music. And it was at a time where I really wasn't enjoying a lot of what the rest of the dubstep scene was putting out. So I was like, fuck, it's up to me for me to continue fostering this collective of people that are making the only music I have left. That's what it felt like at the time. Around that time, and just like the first Convexity EP and the first Kero EP, that was kind of like the golden zone for me of Rushdown, and it felt very rewarding to be able to bring these artists into a position where they were making like full EPs and they were really good and people were responding well to them. So how did you make up melodic dubstep? Where did that idea come from? I didn't make up melodic dubstep. My the reason why I gravitated towards that style was because I particularly loved artists like Gemini, 501, and Xylent, and I was like, that's the kind of shit I want to make. And like early 7 Lines as well. And that's what I gravitated towards. And then I started getting more bro steppy and stuff, and then that's kind of what led me to the beginning of Chime, really. Could you show us what camera you're using? I'm using my shitty webcam on my laptop, so I can't exactly show you. But everything else I film on my iPhone, whatever iPhone this is. It's got 3 cameras. But yeah, that's what I film basically everything on. Chingling plush confirmed. Yes. Will you... Oh, I've done that thing where I've scrolled down too far. Oh, you little bastard. I'm going to try and get back to the spot. Talk amongst yourself. Okay, here we go. Will you ever finish the Golden Hour remix? How's it with the vocalist? Yeah, that... I didn't hear from the vocalist. It was supposed to be Lucy, Luci, who was going to do a cover of the vocals so that we could release it as a cover, but that just literally never happened. Yeah, unfortunately. Is the Aetherborn remix pack mentioned in the Rushdown hiatus post still a thing? It was a thing that we had planned, but then the direction we've gone now is very different. I do still have a planned follow-up to Aetherborn, and I've got some tracks ready for that, and that would then become like the deluxe version of the album with some remixes. But I'm making no promises as to when that would come out, or even if it would come out. I don't know, with the new direction I'm going in. We'll have to see how I feel once we've like gone into the sort of reboot of the project and into a new style. How I feel about going back. But yeah, that's kind of all I can say about that, really. What's the difference between Chime and Chime Pro? That's a reference to when I posted the Between EP trailer, and that was like the suggested search on TikTok. It was... I don't even know what that's supposed to be. Also, will the new project be just UK dubstep or other genres as well? Other sort of UK related styles. So there will be like some garage and maybe some drum and bass and stuff. But mostly it's going to be UK dubstep, which is kind of an adjacent spot to where I'm at. It's still dubstep, you know. Oh, look, the sky behind. Yeah, it does cool things when the sun goes down at this corner. Hi, Chime, what's your favourite label? My favourite label right now is White Peach Records, which is in a very different corner of the bass music scene. But, yeah, go check out some White Peach stuff. It's really, really cool. Hi, Chime, big question. I thought about a book idea of Aetherborn where the story goes of a character who is sharing his experience in this artificial world. Would I have your license for that? I don't know. I would have to see. I would have to see some of it first to make a decision on that sort of thing. How do you manage to balance your relaxing time and work time? That's a solid question. I've gotten so much better at that since 2020. To the point where, I'm like resting a lot more. I used to beat myself up so bad, and it got to like the worst point in like 2020 through to like 2023 when I was talking about Rushdown being on top of everything else and spinning loads of plates and stuff. I was just pushing myself way too hard, and not like putting my foot down and going, I'm not doing that or whatever. I was just trying to do everything I physically could, and that just led to burnout, and it was a bad idea. So what I do now, I mean, I've done a lot of like the therapy I did around 2020 was kind of about that, and about like letting go of having to push myself so fucking hard for no particular reason. So a lot of that has helped. But yeah, just like, I don't know, I've learned a lot more about myself and how my brain works, and who I actually want to be in the past, like, even just a year. And that's been really helping, just like letting myself off on stuff. Yeah, I don't know, tackling it much more at the root. But yeah, I mean, I'm lucky to be self-employed and I can work at whatever time suits me. So I've just been leaning into that more and just working when my brain allows me to, and relaxing when my brain needs it. So hopefully that answers the question. Quintessentially, what's up, bro? I'm working right now, but stopping by to say I've been a huge fan since From Fairies to Fire came out on UKF. That track blew me away, and seeing your journey has been hella inspiring. Hope you're well. Thank you. Yeah, that tune did very well for how weird it is. Very, very weird, that tune. Zeph says, you said you're not getting enough sleep earlier. I was curious what keeps you up late at night. Are you like a night owl producer, or is it gaming time? I've always been a night owl anyway. I prefer the quieting down of nighttime, and especially in this fucking summer, it's a lot more reasonable temperature wise, and it allows me to actually think and get stuff done and do things. But I've always been that way, and as I've said, I'm lucky to be self-employed, and so I can just work until 3 a.m. if I want and not have to deal with the consequences of that. But yeah, no, I feel very lucky that I'm able to do that. But the not getting enough sleep is just it's just insomnia. There's also a thing for me, and it has been for a long time. Did you think Colorbase would be as big as it is, or did it just happen by accident? I was very hopeful it would get bigger than it did, especially around like 2021 time, when it was like starting to get picked up by people because they were stuck at home and didn't need to cater to an audience of people that were going to be live. But it had a little moment, and it seems to be definitely on the downturn now, which is really unfortunate. So I don't know where I would say, if I would say it was expected or not, but I was very hopeful about it getting bigger. But I'm very glad that it got to the point that it did, because especially like the splice packs me and Ace Aura were able to release around that time did a big it had a big effect on my ability to be in the flat that I'm in right now and stuff. So yeah. Okay, I'm getting behind on questions again, aren't I? Any plans for another tune with Sonar and Temanite like Monster? Not right now, unfortunately. Does the term demi-boy mean anything to you, or are you solidly non-binary? Yeah, so that's funny. I think it was like 2020 or 21 Pride Month. I was like, I think I'm like a demi guy or whatever. But yeah, that quickly became just non-binary, because I realized there's absolutely nothing I care about being masculine or a man, and actually I have only negative experiences of being perceived that way. So I'm just like, yeah, no. No, that doesn't work for me. Favorite Game Grumps quote. I asked the real questions, folks, from Dan. Or the one that's coming to mind right now is when they're playing Mario Maker and Aaron's annoyed about a Hammer Brother hitting it with a hammer, and he's like, you fucking Hammer Brother with your tight ass hammer, your stick wouldn't even work. My favorite ones are like Aaron just like doing a run-on sentence that doesn't make any grammatical sense. Those are my absolute favorites. Ati says, between really connected with me even if I'm cis, because there are other identity things which are very black and white in society. Yeah, so that was part of the lyric changes from Between, because I initially had it be much more obvious that it was about non-binary identity, and it was... I think it still is, really, probably a little bit too on the nose, but I did change... a couple of lines so that it would be opened out and be more relatable to people in other ways. And really it is like a criticism of wider society anyway, like the putting people into boxes thing. There are so many aspects in which a person can not neatly fall into certain categories that society wants people to just fall into, and so that became the sort of wider theme of the track, even though it was specifically about my gender identity. So yeah, I'm glad. That's good feedback. That means I did the thing. Quintessentially, what do you often start with when making a track? Is there a specific idea that sparks a mind or building off a certain section, or does it depend on the song? Totally depends. For the most part, it'll be a drop idea, or a chord sequence, or a single piece of sound design, which then becomes a drop idea, and then it all kind of like fleshes out from there. But yeah, often like the first drop is what I will start with. Yeah, I miss Sharks. He's coming back very soon. He's teased some stuff. We should all go tell Sharks we miss him. Yeah. Well, he's coming back, so haha. Right, okay. I think we're pretty much... Oh man, no, there's loads of questions I missed. Shit. Okay. I'm gonna move on to some nostalgic discography stuff. We're just gonna have a little blast through some tunes, and I'll tell you some things about them, I guess, and then we'll come back to some like final questions at the end. But yeah, let's do that. So shout out some tunes from this early section that you want me to talk about. And in the meantime, I'll answer these questions that I can see physically. How do you decide which songs to work on during a given day? Do you focus solely on one or bounce around? I used to bounce around a lot more, but now I am really like one tune until it's done, and then on to the next one. I've just been finding that's how my brain wants me to do things. Yeah. Can you make a video tutorial on how to make Colorbase? I have several of those on my Patreon. Old version of Zephyr and compare it to the Etherborn version. Alright, let's do that. This might be quite loud. Let's get the levels right for you guys. How's that? Is that good? Ooh, I noticed some weird mastering. Let me know if the volume's okay on that. Volume is good. Cool. Yeah, the snare is a bit much on this. A bit too loud. I can turn that down a little bit. Yeah, the snare is very different. This was a snare that I was just overusing, as you can hear. As you can hear. Yeah, very high-pitched. Yeah, like every track on the EP has that snare. So that was like one of the things I wanted to change out immediately. I think the new Zephyr is actually 5 BPM faster too. I think it's 145. That's better. But mostly the changes are like I colorified some of the basses, and then like the B section is more like this, whereas it used to be this. That sort of vibe. But yeah, I remember being so happy with that tune initially, and it was like the first time I'd worked with a vocalist properly as well. Jason asked, I know you were trying to get more aggressive sounds around the From Fairies to Fire region. Did you do that for Firepower, or was it more natural to you than that? That was definitely for Firepower. I mean, I was surprised very surprised they took this EP. Especially with how this starts, so cutesy. But that became kind of the point of this track, because I was known up until this point as wow, did these really release before that? No, that's not right. That's not right at all, surely. That's nuts. No, that doesn't make any sense. That has to be later. I don't know. What the hell was I saying? Yeah, I was known for like more sort of cutesy stuff, but I was trying to like go heavier. And that's kind of been a thing I've always felt like I've had to do, you know? Yeah, I'm not huge on. I like the melodies. I much prefer the VIP that I did. That's at 150 BPM. That isn't on Spotify because they wouldn't release it, even though it was way better. And Catch Up I quite like in a way. This is what I opened the that Paris show with. But it's super bro step. Big, massive energy. But yeah, very dated. And then speaking of dated, good lord. This intro is kind of cool. But I hate this drop. This just big FM from B basses. Yeah, yucky. And then this is even yuckier, man. No, it's less yucky. So this was me trying to do melodic rhythm long before it was a thing. But again, it was like the elements were so separated. Like the twinkly stuff was completely different from the sound design. And yeah, just rubbish. But I like the twinkly stuff. Like that bit's okay. Oh, this thing. Big bro step times. Do I still hate Darknet? Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll find out in a minute. It just I could sense when I was like doing something specifically out of character, and those tend to be the tracks that I dislike more. So like Teleport was one of those where I was trying to fit in with the heavier stuff. Like I was like, I'll do the kick clap thing because that's the thing that's cool right now. But it's just very shit. This is the whole thing about my sound design not being very good as well. Like that's a theme, and that's why I like Whole better, because it's less about sound design, and the bits I dislike about Whole are the bits of sound design that are dated, like the main bass hit on like the first beat of the drop. And even then, like, those basses make sense in the context a little bit more than this stuff. Davey says, hey, I don't see Mini Monster, Curls, or Dreamcatcher on that list. Yeah, none of those are on Spotify. They're all, like, free downloads and stuff through SoundCloud. But yeah, this, I would still play this, like, now. And the second drop is really interesting. Yes, Cosmic. That is... Oh, wait, no. Not Feel It. Can't Feel It. That's where I got the idea for the Can't Feel It, like, 16th note things. With the lead slightly delayed from the chords. That's where I got the idea for it. Yeah, those things. Let's listen back to Colours, because this thing, I remember being so happy with this, but I listened back to it recently and it's not good. Again, sound design problems.
Colours.
And then that lead was borrowed from an old December track as well. The that melody. Like, I like this section. It's the bit that follows. It just goes full bro step. You know what's nuts? The distance between some of these tracks. Like, it doesn't make sense. Because I feel like Wait For Me and this era here feels so far away from, like, this little run of tunes, but they're like right there next to each other. This was a big one for some reason. I think just because Excision picked it up and started playing it, and then everyone wanted to remix it for some reason. The pitched up vocals are really annoying. And then you can really tell I got Serum around this point because of what happens next. Like I figured out the flange filter. It's so rubbish. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I never hugely liked it at the time, really. I much preferred like Starstorm and Father. Like, way preferred. Jason had a question I wanted to answer. What was it? Do you think Get Your Hands Dirty is a theme dubstep track? Was that an idea? Yeah, so the idea of this one is that I really liked doing all the finger guns and stuff and like representing the basses with my hands when I would dance to the music, and so I wanted to make a tune that was like really good for that, but it just became a complete clusterfuck. And this also like screams of me trying to fit in on Firepower Records as well.
Get your hands dirty.
So this is what I mean about like me trying to decomplicate my music. There's so much going on with a tune like this. There's too much going on. Somebody wanted to talk about Earthshine. Yeah, this was just a weird. I'd just seen Madian and Port Robinson in London, I think, and I was like, I want to make one of those like 110 chordy tunes. And this was supposed to be part of a game. I was writing music for a game that never happened called Lonely Cosmos. And I ended up putting all of the music for that up on Patreon a while back. But this was one of the tunes from that I wanted to develop into like a more of an EDM tune. Yeah, the snare's too much. Like for the first half of the tune, it's way too much. Like those drums should not be going as hard as that. But I'm. This is the point where I'm starting to really like my drums on my tunes. I also really why can't I pause this? I also really liked the artwork for this at the time. Oh, you can't fucking see it because there it is. Very much. I think there was like a Schism EP that I took this like slice idea from on Never Say Die. Yeah, but let's go to the second drop of this. This was the big like Madian Port Robinson vibe drop, complete with like the Language piano ripoff. You'll hear. There it is. Someone is beeping hard outside. Oh yeah, and those are my vocals too. I'm drinking hardcore water right now, my guy. Yeah, that's a pretty overlooked like chime tune. But to be fair, it was sandwiched by like Wait For Me and Starstorm, which were like big at the time. And this one, I really like this one. Shout out Sekai. Yes, I have played Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4. And yes, the Undertale remix was around this time, but it's not on Spotify. There's those serum screeches. But yeah, I was really happy with this string of like Wait For Me, Starstorm, and Father. And then this was, because this was 2017, so this was leading up to my first US tour with Terra Vita. And so I have like really nice memories of like playing these tracks out for the first time on that tour. What else have we got? This EP that's too long. This had a lot of misses. I feel like, I mean, people like the Big Crunch, but like Invincible, I decently like Invincible, but it wasn't a super strong track in comparison to like the way From Fairies to Fire went down. And then like these are pretty skippable. Honestly, this is just like straight. I don't know. Another one where I was like, I could feel myself appeasing Firepower. You know? Yeah, I like Invincible in a way. Like, this feels very Chime. Sound design's getting a bit more interesting here. Right, let's listen to Darknet. Immediately, like, the brass and this fucking gremlin-ass harmony is just like, ugh. I could feel myself, like, trying to fit in with this. Because this kind of, like, spooky vibe was what was becoming very popular in 2017. But this one passes the test of like the simplicity. Like the drop idea I enjoy more because it's like it's not just sound design being thrown all over the place. All right, you want a duo of fun facts about this. So the bass pattern is directly taken from my Panda Eyes remix, the one with like Datforia. It was like a drum step remix that I did as December, and I repurposed that like that thing for Darknet, and then also the main bass in Darknet comes from What the Funk, because it's one of my basses, but it was time stretched and affected by the brig. Let me see if I can find it. So that's one of my basses, but I just took a little snippet of that from the way that the brig affected it, and then it turned into the Darknet bass. This main one. Yeah, so we're in 2018 now. 2018 was such a Chime golden era, experience points, featherweight, and evolve. Yeah, I felt like I really like hit a bit of a stride in 2018. And I was starting to get interest from obviously Circus, and that's when I was starting to like hang out with the Disciple folks, which led to me finally like releasing on there and stuff. So 2018 was a big sort of pivotal year. I went on a little tour for experience points at the start of the year, and then I went on the Whirlwind tour, which was pretty chunky later on that year. This, I remember being sat in I made most of this in an Airbnb in 2017 in Minneapolis because it was between shows, and I was in like somebody's room in this house that was just like covered in Airbnb rooms. I made most of this in there while eating very cheap soup and things. Sound design improving a bit, but still, yeah. Ooh, Arcade. Which song is the one with the melody of the Japanese train jingle? I remember you telling that story at some time. Right. I'm going to find that for you guys. It's called Harajuku, and it was never finished. Let me see if I can find it. It was never finished, and I kept finding myself back in Harajuku, and I kept like recording like... hey, I'm back in Harajuku. Here's my tune's coming out, and I never finished it. Yeah, so this is a tune that was based on the train jingle for Harajuku in Tokyo. I need to re-download it from Dropbox, but I can actually open the project file, and I'll show you how far it got. When was this created then? It doesn't show when it was properly created because I re-downloaded it in 2020 or something. But yeah, let's go into this project because that'll be fun. I remember running into my bedroom and freaking out to my ex about Facebook face punch being circus. Yeah, that was big when the circus thing happened because I was I was like a mild fan of Firepower, but I was like a really big fan of circus. So that ended up being a big deal for me. I'm opening the project file for Harajuku, and we can go through this crusty ass project. There is a snare named after that in my drum pack because that was the snare that I made in this project, which is very, very gradually opening right now. Yay, crusty projects. That is taking some time. I tell you what I will do. I will play a tune, go for a piss, and when I come back, this project will hopefully be opened. So let's do a throwback. Let's play Face Punch. And I will be back in a sec, having pissed. See you in a minute. What the hell is going on? Are those baguettes? They look like baguettes. This Logic project is still attempting to open. I think there's a possibility it's trying to like re-download some files from Dropbox before it properly opens itself. We'll just let that sit in the background. But yeah, the baguettes are still coming. Welcome back. Yeah, this was... I like this EP. This is a little dated, but yeah. Oh, the Red says, hello Chime, I found it funny that the first time I found you was actually one of your old names, Caution and Crisis, and then after several years found you again under the name of Chime. Yeah, it's mad that, like, I went on, like, the old, like, Ultimate Dubstep mix that we did as Caution and Crisis, and there's people being like, wait, that guy looks like Chime. I think this Logic situation needs to be reloaded. Cool. Oh, I should do this. Question: do you think your sound was pandering to Circus similar to Firepower, or do you feel like this was way more you? Both those things. I feel like I was pandering to Circus, especially with Face Punch, but I felt like I was able to be more myself with this sound. So even though it was Circus inspired, yeah, this felt more me, especially Experience Points. 'Cause like those chords are just straight borrowed from a December remix I did. And then this is big Fox Stevenson dubstep energy. Aha! Right. Let's have a look at this. Wow, a compressor on the master. What the hell is going on with that? I'm just going to turn this down because it might be considerably loud. Or very quiet. Tell you what I'll do. I'll just bloody put a maximizer on this. If you'd be so kind. Ah, okay, the sign shading is broken because it's using a plugin that I no longer use. But this was the Harajuku idea, and this is what the drop sounded like. And then you can tell I ran out of ideas, like, for what the B section should be at all. But this is how the intro sounds. Yeah, because that's the original train jingle. The no side chaining is triggering. I like this drum roll. Don't know where that came from. Yeah, so that's Harajuku. That's a thing from like this sort of region, I would say, from when I first went to Japan and stuff. In 2016. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, around here. Oh, yes, because I was making this on that trip. Imlay played this out at Ultra Japan while we were there. It was really cool. What's up, Paper Skies and Modus and everyone else from Rushdown that's in here? Right, Jason was like, when are we going to talk about Phototropic? I use a MacBook, whatever this is. There you go. It's pretty souped. Phototropic is like too much. Whoops. This is what I mean. What I'm like. When I talk about my music being overly sweet, this is what I mean. The vocal is actually a tiny little snippet from a mate of mine that I used to do music tech A-level with, and I did a remix of his tune, and that's where the vocal's from. Yeah, we went over Earthshine earlier. This stream I will keep up. Hopefully it will just stay up afterwards. I don't know if there's a setting for that. But yeah, so you can watch it back or whatever. Yeah, this one was on NCS. You know, the funniest thing about this, because it was on NCS and it was used on a bunch of YouTube videos, it was used on a video that Drew Gooden and Danny Gonzalez were reacting to. So I was watching one of their videos, and then I was like, why the fuck is my music playing suddenly? And they were like dancing along to it and everything. Oh, okay, this build-up is in direct response to Connor Whitmore criticizing my build-ups. He was like, "Oh, they're a bit too short." So I made this one that's absolutely insanely long and just keeps going. Jason asked what my favorite artwork is that someone else has made for you. I remember really liking the From Fairies to Fire artwork. Can I bring this up in any kind of size? There we go. I remember being really hyped about this like initially. And of course this is Solid Soul, who went on to do all of like my Disciple EP artwork as well. But yeah, I don't know what else. What else is good? The interdimensional artwork's pretty sweet. And then like Voidwalkers on the other side that AU5 made are pretty dope. I don't know. Yeah, mostly I've done a lot of my own artwork actually. like over the years. Anyway, we're at Phototropic. This EP, I decently like. Featherweight is very, very dated, but again was me trying to do melodic rhythm, but again, the elements being so separated from each other. Like just a bit rubbish, but I really like the non-drop sections. Like I was getting a lot better at atmosphere around this time, I think. And then Damage, I was staying with Lost Vegas, who is one half of Bad Catholics, and we snuck in a little reference to I Want You, which is the track we made back when I was December. I think it was the harp. Yeah, that was from I Want You. But this one was just like a fun bro step time.
A lot of damage. Don't try this.
Smokescreen, out of all of the heavy tracks I've made, I feel like this one possibly holds up the best, like from the early heavy tunes, especially this intro. Yeah, like there's a bit more maturity in there. Yeah, we're getting into like very early, like tear out sort of vibes. Yeah, like I'm not cringing too much at the sound design here. That growl, I was using that growl for like Caution and Crisis stuff, and I brought it back because it was like that was like the one piece of sound design I was like, oh, I can actually still stand behind that, but that's like a massive one. Yeah, I still like Smokescreen, weirdly enough, and Missingno as well. I had a lot of fun sampling bits of the actual Missingno glitch being used on a Game Boy, and it just like crapping up the audio for this one. Yeah, at this point, the sound design is really caught up to the point where I'm like, yeah, this feels like I could play this now, and I would be happy to do so. Yeah, the stream should be watchable later, I think. yeah, again, like these two are like where I got decent at like heavy tunes. I feel like because none of the ones before really hit a nice balance. I felt, but yeah, these two I think still hold up. These two less. This one very much not so. This one very much not so. But yeah, this one I remember being a bit down on at the time, and being just like, it's just like a generic bro step tune. But actually, I quite like this one. Yeah, because you've got like this. Like, this is honestly, like, closer to my new style than a lot of this. The drop a lot less so. Yeah, that one's fun. This, I felt like I was basically asked for a tune that we could theme a tour around. And so I tried to make a very standard but still enjoyable, just like chime tune that was just like a crystallized form of what my style was at the time. So that's what this became. And also I specifically wrote the intro so that it could be like the opening track of my sets for the tour. Windrushy sounds were from Zephyr as well. Yeah, I was getting a lot better at bro step at this point. Like, the sound design is a bit more refined. All right, let's talk about Goldfinch. This was a classic. Like, I had the idea for the melody of both the intro and the drop before I even started making it. And this is the origin of the Goldfinch leitmotif. And, as you'll see from the credits, this was before I was called Harvey Goldfinch as well. Yeah, like I still like the idea of this one. It's just the execution that I have trouble with. Like the sounds aren't. They're like too dubsteppy. They're too like bro steppy. Which is why, yeah, when I was looking for melodies I could use as like a leitmotif to represent my character in Etherborn, this one made sense because of the name, but also just because of the simplicity of the and how many ways that could be reharmonized and sped up and slowed down and used all over the album and stuff. But the drop doesn't even touch that melody. It's a completely different thing. Yeah. And then this weird bit. And then this is another bit. This is what I mean about like figuring out what the main idea is. Like, I don't think this track needs this B section. And then this is a whole other idea as well. Like, I should have just picked one or two. And that would make the tune feel less just like all over the place, I guess. This EP I remember being very happy with. Definitely more like circus vibes, especially on this one. That laugh is Ricky Gervais. This is pure like... this is pure... the experience I wanted out of my live sets was this tune. It's just like there's so many fun bits to this, and it's 150 BPM and people can headbang to it if they want, but it's also like got UK sort of wobbly stuff. And it feels very at home on Circus too. This one, this is what I picked as my like favorite from this year. And again, I think it's because it's the simplicity allows it to feel a bit more timeless. Not timeless, but maybe you know what I mean. This chord sequence is straight ripped from Flashback by Calvin Harris. This is like a flashback. This is like a dream. Using the classic chime lead there as well. See, this is one of the only tunes I can play and people will sing the melody on the drop. And I've only got a handful of those, and that's one of the reasons I really, really still like this one. Although the milk samples on the offbeat need toning down. Hey! 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 Yeah, Octostomp. Definitely something I could be making today with more rainbow color base effects, yeah. This is my favorite bit. You take the same riff, the exact same riff, and then you reharmonize it, and it sounds completely different. Super fun one. Speaking of super fun, this so this intro is a combination of Kirby Canvas Curse, like the really short staccato, like square beeps and stuff, and then it's got the harmony of the battle theme from Bomberman Tournament on the GBA. The bass line is nuts in this section. Like it's going like up octaves, down octaves all the time. And then the pre-drop was, I just got people on Twitter to send me them shouting coins, and I picked one out, and I can't remember who the hell it was from.
Coins!
I remember having the idea for this for ages. I wanted to make a drop that that had a coin as like the main sound, and I don't think I really did that idea justice with this, because the coin is like over the top of a different bass sound, and I wasn't really good enough at making that the main element of the drop. But I still think the theming of the track worked decently well with this. It's just like nuts, like you're in an arcade and you're just winning coins. With the cha-ching as well. Ah, Work It is from Warrior Land 4 as well. Starstorm was inspired by Paper Mario, the original one on 64. The ding 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 ding. That's like straight from the Star Spirits theme from that one. Oh yeah, the hard style drop. I didn't specifically sample Warrior Land 4 on Mecha Turbo 3, but I did use the same like square lead that is used in the OST for that. But yeah, coins is super fun. Evolve, I feel like unfortunately doesn't hold up, but I used to really love using it as my closing track with the epic. I'll just play from here, I think. Yes, this is what I would use as my closing track. And I would get everyone to like move their arms along with this synth, which was taken from Return to Base by Caution and Crisis, which uses an old Microkorg XL synth, and I took that original sample and I like beefed it up with new synths and stuff to make it, but it sounds fucking sick. Yeah, and then this was just the perfect like piano thing to end a set on, and then you can slow it down really, really slow. And it's got that wind chime sample from Goldfinch in. This was supposed to be a Fox Stevenson collab. And then this was absolutely like my main absolute dreamist dream collab at the time. So this was amazing. And the reason it came about is because my current manager was hanging out with Xylent, and he kind of like nudged him to go, you should work on this thing with Chime. He wasn't even my manager at that point. I remember the second drop on this one being dope. There's like some mad triplet stuff where it just changes every... There's like so much sound design in 1 second. That little run is nuts. Yeah, that I was so happy that we were able to make that tune happen. Wait, what? What's happening? This cracks me up every time. This fucking thing. Because why is this so popular? I have no idea. I have no idea why this tune is permanently at the top of my Spotify, honestly. This was originally a collab with Phantom Sage. I needed vocals on it and everything, but I ended up just finishing it on my own with a splice vocal that I regret using, and the chords in the intro are from an old track of mine called Sonder as December as well. But everyone loves this one for some reason. It's a thoroughly okay tune. Moving on. Pixel Perfect was basically a sequel to Whirlwind. It's a similar 150 BPM E minor tune that I needed to use to promote a tour. Just another bro step tune. Although I did reuse an old chord sequence and melody from a track called Mid Ranger for this B section. Here we go. That's the best part of the track by a country mile. And it's reused from something else. Right, this EP was a big deal for me because I'd already hit, like, I was on Firepower and Circus, and then I was like, I really want to be on Disciple. And it was 2019, so it was like peak Disciple kicking off and being like a big thing in the scene. So this was a really big deal for me to get on this label. And this is why I picked this as like my favorite from this year, because it's a big it's another one of those big melodies that people can sing. And the reason why the drop sounds like it does is because Myro, who was very much in charge of what got onto Disciple at that point, was a huge fan of Face Punch and was kicking himself that he didn't take Face Punch, even though I never sent it to him. I sent it to Circus. So that's why this tune is such a mix of like that wobbly sound, but also bro step, but also like a big chime melody all in one package. So it's kind of like a perfect representation of everything my sound was trying to be all at once.
I'm on a side quest.
But the best bit is the melody.
Forget the main quest, I'm on a side quest.
Yeah, that is Link, because, yeah, I was playing a lot of Breath of the Wild. And then this is what Darknet wishes it could be, which is Metroid Prime Hunters references done, and heaviness done a lot better. That quintuplet, I was so happy with that because I was just discovering you could do quintuplets. So I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. choir to like bring that Metroid vibe in there. What the pre-drop phrase says? It says danger. Radiation detected. It's from Metroid Prime. But this feels like peak Stompy Chime. Spacewonk's a bit of a weird one. Space. And then Wallbreaker was an idea that Sekai started and sent me, and yeah, it's another one that I sent to Myro and he really liked. And I kind of like Flux Pavilionized the chords with like a screechy layer in there. And then that's the face punch bass. Yeah, and then I sent them this EP and they were like, "Yep, no notes." And I was like, "Oh, this is sick." I was able to get Ace on there. And then this is where the Colorbase stuff was really kicking in. Potions, again, another wobbly one. This one is like too fast. It's like it really shouldn't be 150 BPM. It's fun though. Getting way better at sound design now. Wrong Warp I remember being very happy with. I literally started making this, I'd just been hanging out with Ace Aura and Millennial Trash, and they showed me a bunch of stuff with resonators. Yeah, and I got back to my agent's place in Dallas and just started making this. Second drop though, I think some of my favorite sound design like so far in the discography. Yeah, like that main sound. That thing is sick. That again, like if I were to make this now, that would be the whole drop. Like that one sound, so that you could really like focus in on that. And then Surface, I was so happy with at the time, and now I really don't like at all. I think I was just happy with how I was able to harmonize stuff a lot more cleanly with some of the sound design techniques I'd learned. I remember being really happy with that resonatory thing. Not as bad as I remember. I think it's the second drop that bugs me. Yeah. Yeah, it just doesn't feel properly filled out, I think. This, I was getting way more into sound design from this point, because like you can really see from like over here how things start to improve. Crystal's another one of those where I was like, yeah, sound design. Yeah, I've only ever used Logic, except like GarageBand for like a year at the beginning. Oh yeah, I remember Modus like in this one, yeah. It's very Modus coded, this one. And everyone thought it was an Excision collab because I used an X in the artwork. Yeah, I remember I was making Crystal and Unicorn Blood at the same time because they share a lot of sound design techniques, and I was using vocoders, very crusty Logic vocoders for stuff. Yeah, people just thought it was an Excision collab based on the artwork, not based on the actual tune. This is my favorite bit. Yeah, I remember showing this to AU5 when I like first met him, actually. Yeah, these look like resonant stabs. They sounded like the way light flickers through a crystal. You know how like when you're turning a crystal and like little flickers of light will like bounce between it and it'll make it look like it's twinkling? That's what I was trying to represent with these little... And the second drop is like psytrance. Which is fun. Haunted. Now, I have the weirdest memories of this one because I went on tour in China at the end of 2019, and for whatever reason, while I was there, everyone really, really liked this tune. And people had made like banners with like the artwork on shit. I don't know why. Yeah, there's just a clip of me playing it, I think in like Chengdu. So I just really associate China with this tune for some reason. But obviously it's based around Pumpkin Hill from Sonic Adventure 2. And I still really like the YouTube video I made talking about Pumpkin Hill that I made like around this time. This was almost a Gentleman's Club collab.
This place sure feels haunted.
It's really fun though, this one. Right, I haven't even got to 2020, which is like halfway, and I'm getting pretty tired. So, are there any like standout tunes that you want me to talk about more recently? I feel like because I've been doing social media more frequently, you guys know more about these tunes kind of than like the earlier ones. So it makes sense to like leave more of them. But yes, I was trying to release it on Black Label. Actually, I sent Smokescreen to Black Label. And they turned it down. And I remember sending it to Dubloads, and he was like, why the hell did they turn this down? It's so Black Label at the time. You want me to talk about Win and Lose? That is probably my least favourite of the recent ones. I think because I did a Can't Feel It on it, and I used a splice vocal. This was in direct response to feedback from Flux Pavilion saying that I should make more tunes with big melodies. And so that's what I did with the drop. Jewel Cat is upset I didn't play White Magic, so I'll go and play that for a sec. White Magic was rough to wrap up because Panda Eyes was like very, very specific with the way he wanted certain things. But it ended up being alright. Yes, Dan the Mac did have a hand in Win and Lose with the harmonies. I remember the non-drop sections being much better in this. Yeah, this thing. Yeah, there was a lot of compressage going on this one. Yes, Cloud Factory is inspired exactly by the Minish Cap Sky Temple. Like almost exactly. I took some harmonies from there, but also, yeah, just a lot of the vibe in general. And the main lead is a Minish Cap sound font as well. A couple of people wanting to talk about the micro era. It's just 2 tracks, really. Jesus. I was very, very happy with all of the video stuff for this. That was a lot of fun. Yes, Cloud Factory was always meant to be part of the album. I just desperately needed something to release as part of Colorbase Volume 3. Unbelievable with Brig is one of my least favourite Chime tunes ever. I don't know. I was really hyped to work with him because I really liked Black Pearl. But I don't know, we just overblew it with sound design and like the master's dodgy and stuff. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, this was a lot of fun to make. I originally sent it to Lax for a collab, but he was not into it. And then I made the second drop even stupider. And this is what really gave me the idea to like lean into the micro drop thing. And then I made Micrology straight after. Like a direct sequel. I listened back to the micro mix I did on the little tiny thing as well recently. How did the Feedback remix come into being? I released Soul on Dimmac, which is obviously Steve Aoki's label, and so I just randomly got the offer to do this remix, and I was like, okay. And it was pretty hard to do because the original tune is literally just one note. It's from that Big Room era. But yeah, it's a 10-year anniversary remix, so it's from like 2015 or 14. Yeah, so it was pretty hard to do. So I did a sort of eliminate jobby on the on the drop.
The speakers up.
Bit of a weird one, to be honest. I did what I could on that remix. It really does sound like Eliminate. Yeah, I mean, it's all the same production techniques, really, to make it really small. I love how you introduced everyone to Bop through that micro mix. Yes. Have I considered an Eliminate collab? Yeah, I've always wanted to work with Eliminate. Just never made it happen, really. Probably the funniest one on your discography. I did something dumb on the second drop, didn't I? Oh yeah, I made it stompy.
The speakers up.
No, I never started anything with Eliminate. I always wanted to though. Like out of the Disciple artists, it was definitely like Virtual Riot. I wanted to work with Barely Alive, Eliminate, and like Infect and stuff. Yeah. I mean, obviously we skipped a bunch of tunes, but I'm thinking we should probably wrap this up because I've been going for some time. But yes. What should I even say? Jesus. It's a lot of music, actually. It's 168 songs, and that's just the ones released on Spotify. So it's probably more like 180, 190 or something over 10 years. That's pretty good going, isn't it? Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you for being here. Things are about to change quite a lot. This EP sort of wraps up the rest of the IDs that I've been able to release of all this style. There are other tunes, like there's a Cyclops collab, and there's like the Flux and more Kismet collab that may come out at some point. But I am gearing up to do a big reboot of the Chime project. I'm still going to be called Chime, but the music style is going to change quite a lot. I feel like this is well-trodden ground now. I've done 10 years of this sort of thing, and I'm really looking forward to something new and kind of ducking into a more European and UK-centric space with the new stuff. If you want to check out any of the new stuff, I have an ID showcase of all the new era tunes. Like every single one of them is up on the Patreon currently, and there's a load of behind the scenes of everything I've been doing to prepare for all of the new era stuff. Sleepless VIP, that thing, it's own. That's been difficult to release just because there's many artists involved, and then it's only me that's doing the VIP, so it's a bit weird. Yes, lots of questions coming in that I can't answer at this point. But if you want to see where all the new stuff is going, Patreon's the best place for that. I've had to keep it to Patreon to keep it secret, but also to kind of like give a benefit to the people that have been supporting me there, and kind of showcase what I have been working on. Give me like a couple weeks, and then you will see some big things happening in terms of rebrandy stuff and the new style and everything, and kind of reintroducing the world to me under the new musical style and everything. I can feel my brain shutting down. I've just reached a point of no return. Do you think years down the road that you will revive Colorbase stuff, or is there really no turning back? That's really funny, because No Turning Back is the name of my first single that I will be releasing under the new style. I will always have Colorbase underlining everything that I make. That sound design and that world that I've been able to create with Colorbase is something that is not going to go away. And you'll start to hear that on the new stuff. It's very different, but there is it's still very clear that it's made by me, I feel like. And I feel like that will always be important to me, that there are little bits and pieces of, this 10 years of music that I have behind me will always continue forward in some sense in my new music. So you will be hearing Goldfinch leitmotifs, and you will be hearing Colorbase sound design. It will just be repackaged in a new format, which will hopefully allow me to play more shows, allow me to gain more of a following and that sort of thing. I think I've reached a point where there's only so many fans I can get of my music by doing the style that I'm doing, and you guys are all already here, and you guys are awesome, but I want to play more shows, and that has not been a thing I've been able to do very much of over the past 2 years, and that's a big part of why I'm making the change. But if you want more information about that, it's all on the Patreon, or you can wait for a couple weeks, and more new cool things will be happening at you. Did I see your dubstep piano cover, by the way? No. Send me that on Instagram or something, and I will check it out. Cool. I can feel my brain shutting off, so I'm gonna go. But thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you to all of you for supporting my music over the years, no matter where you join me on the journey of the 168 songs I've released. It's amazing. It's permanently amazing that I'm able to keep being Chime and doing what I'm able to do, and being able to financially support myself was always the goal that I wanted, and I'm able to do that, and I'm able to live in this flat and do streams like this and provide you with music and fun things. So that is the best job ever. So thank you so much for all of your support. And yeah, I'm gonna be posting a little bit more stuff around the EP that just came out, and then I might be quiet for like a week, and then a whole new era is going to begin, which, you know, might end up being the entire of the next 10 years of Chime. And it's going to be new and different and fun, and I really hope you're going to enjoy it. But yeah, thank you ever so much for tuning in. And yeah, I will see you for